Welcome to Divine Rhythm Family. This is your big brother, beloved. And I got another word for you today. Today we're going to be speaking about my king or my queen is a dope fiend. My king or my queen is a dope fiend. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't want to confuse anybody here, but I am speaking about another significant other, not your spouse, but papa, but mama, but my father, but my mother, right? Your guardian. This may be your grandfather, this may be your grandmother, this may be your uncle, your auntie, anybody that would be considered a guardian, a parent to you, right? My king, my queen is a dope fiend. I'm really pulling this out for individuals whom have now assumed the role as the caregiver, right? Anytime you have a parent who is suffering from some type of mental illness, disorder, or some type of addiction, substance abuse, the child in that situation, unintentionally or at times intentionally, if they're a bit mature, assume the role of caregiving, right? This happens more often than we think. That we step into that role to care for those who are now or have been for quite a while suffering from these things. And I can clearly see this in the story of Noah when Noah had finally finished out the ark, and he's now landed after sending out the dove, and he's now free to come off. He's now walking amongst the land. This could be extremely stressful, and that can also be a reason why they are drinking. They do suffer from some type of trauma, or they are partaking in substances that takes them away from the reality that we are living in. But I'm going to read a little bit from scripture here, just so you have a good back on where I'm going through here. And then I'm going to go over just a few, if not a little over a few things that we may go through and what can actually help. What we may go through and what can actually help. And dealing with parents or guardians or those are significant others here that are dealing with these things. So I'm going to read this here. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk and lay uncovered inside of his tent. Ham, which is the youngest son, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son did, Ham, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers." And if you don't know, Ham is the father of Canaan. All right, so just a few things that we can look at from even taking a look at the story here. Though in perspective, I think Ham could have did, so much more for his father in that situation. I think it's also good to say that he was the youngest. He was immature. He was not in a position to know the protocol, or we can safely say he didn't know what to do in that situation because of his immaturity. He was the youngest. So that right there, I don't know what to do in this situation when I see my father in a state of mind like this. And I believe a lot of us have been in situations that's been quite a bit traumatizing to see your parent go through or do things and partake in certain self-sabotaging behaviors that may not reflect the character that they have seen beforehand, right? He just seen his father build a whole ark and all these animals and, go through the things that he went through. You could safely say as the youngest son, he probably saw his father to be a Superman, right? Some type of great man with valor and, a God of a man of God. You understand? However, as we see in the story, when Noah arose, right, he woke up from drinking wine. He cursed him instead, right? He cursed him. He cursed his sons instead. I want to speak from at least a little bit in this here. I helped and still got cursed, right? You could try your best to be there for your parent, but I know we've heard this a lot too, right? I'm the father. I'm the mother. I'm the elder, right? Though you were doing your best to try to help out and it may have not been the proper protocol, you still got cursed. We got to accept the fact, excuse me, we got to accept the fact that we may actually be helping out the situation, but in fact, since we didn't help out the way that they expect, you're going to get cursed. You're going to be cursed out. You're going to be talked about. You're going to be the evil guy, the evil girl in that situation. So accept the fact that you may not get the love that the others are getting because you didn't do what is assumed to be the right way to do it. You walked in on something that you didn't expect to see, but when you did see it, you went to go get somebody that can help. You shouldn't feel bad about that, right? Though it's a lot of things that you could have did in that situation, don't beat yourself up for doing something that you didn't necessarily, walking in on something that you didn't necessarily know how to handle. So you delegated that responsibility to people that may know more, who are more mature, who are older than you. So don't feel bad about that. Secondly, what that can actually produce is seeing your parents differently. And, you're moving forward in that, right? We always need to be in a position that we can give that respect to our parents, give that respect to our guardians, our elders, right? Honor your mother and your father, right? Always, always. But when you see these things, that can really put you at odds of now something being implanted in your head that can affect you. And that's not necessarily your fault, but what we need to do is come to the grips and not walking in on things that that could potentially harm you, right? This is the reason why they tell you knock before you come in, right? Don't just walk in and you don't know what's going on. I could be naked, right? That being said, you can look at them differently when you are not providing that respect for privacy or providing that respect for what they're doing. It's our job to be in a supportive role if we know this is what they're doing. They're in active addiction. However, don't get into manipulation or witchcraft, right? You should still be speaking out of the heart of ministry to support those you love, even though they may think that they're there to support you. When you have assumed that role, even intentionally or unintentionally, when you know a little bit of what's going on, help from a loving place, right? From a distance, and still respect them in that type of manner. Secondly, when you do that, though you may have been cursed out, if it continues to happen when you find your parent or whoever, your elder, you know, in a room drunk, in a room high, just doing things they know they shouldn't be doing. How do you do that? You take a step back and help, right? You take a step back and help. Take a step back. Be patient with them. Take a step back, but still help, right? When they are in that type of situation, look what the older brothers did. Look what the older brothers did, right? Shem and Japheth took a garment, right? With intentions. They took what was needed and then laid it across their shoulders. They put it on, right? They carried it with them, the things that he needed. And after that, they walked in backwards. This is taking a step back, right? Taking a step back and help, right? And then they covered their father with a naked body. Their faces were turned the other way so they would not see their father naked. You can't give yourself, when you know what's going on, don't look at them differently, right? You may have seen it or you may be aware of what's going on, but don't give yourself the opportunity to see them down like that. I know, and this is kind of out of the text here, but Jamie Foxx was speaking about when his father had went to prison and how he didn't want to see his father in that type of state, that he wanted to see him, once he got out, and that's when they were going to talk and have a relationship, because he never wanted to go to the prison to see his father in that type of situation. And I think it's safe to say that you can correlate that with this in particular, because they went in knowing the situation at hand, but yet they did not want to see their father laid naked like that. I respect, but they knew that, let's make sure that he's covered. Let's make sure that he's took care of in this particular situation. So they took a step back and said, hey, look, I'm going to go in and help, but I'm not going to see that. And lastly here, I want to speak on covering them with respect. So that's connected to the last statement that I said here. And just like that, their faces were turned the other way so that they would not see their father naked. It takes a lot of maturity to go in, knowing that they are in active addiction, knowing that they are drunk here, dealing with alcohol and liquor, knowing that they are suffering from some type of trauma due to heartbreak or, just, being scorned. It takes a lot of maturity to be a son or a daughter, right? In that situation, to go in and still cover them with respect, right? Not looking at them differently, still providing honor because God said to do that. No matter how down bad, they may turn into all type of things, walking on the street, just having all type of man in and out of the house, and, maybe out there, I hate to say it, but, pimping, trying to be, pimping prostitutes, bringing prostitutes in the house, and they just going all. It's so much that can be said. I don't know what everybody's dealing with here, but I know that when you are in that situation, it can be traumatizing. It can be hard on your heart, on your mind, on your spirit a lot. And we can be kids that, or children that, hey, why wasn't my parent like this? Why wasn't, my father like this? Why wasn't my mother like this? And I think some of the best ways to handle that is to still show honor, step back and help, right? Where you can. Don't give yourself the position to look at them differently because they are human too. Yes, your mother, your father, your grandfather, your grandmother are people. They are people outside of the title they hold in relation to you. So give them just that. Let them be human beings, right, that make mistakes, because we are all sinners. We have all fallen short of the glory of God, family. And I just believe that, this is a word for somebody. This is a word for somebody to give them some type of clarity and some type of protocol to go about handling a situation that deals with parents, deals with fathers, deals with mothers who have not made some of the best decisions here. And they know that their children support them as well. Sometimes that be the kicker that says, you know what, I'm going to get clean this time. Sometimes that be the kicker to say, I'm going to put this bottle down. Sometimes that be the kicker to say, you know what, I'm going to sit down with a therapist so I can know exactly why I'm always lashing out, why I don't have good conversations with my kids or good relations with those who I should, I want to have them with. And as children, we are mature, unintentionally or intentionally. If you came across this video, maybe this is for you. Maybe you have a parent who's dealing with this, right? Aloe 9, Aloe 9, Aloe 9. Look this up. If you're serious about supporting them, look this up for your best benefit. You got to know right now, this is the time to do it because we're all suffering from something. And we want to be there to better help, support, and love those we love and we've got support from, right? Oh yeah, another word for you. You got to know we got another day above land, family. I pray you take grace, take care, and save space for love. Till next time.